Recently, I replayed Pokemon Crystal, and I had a blast. I don't need to rave about how much I love Generation 2. You guys already have an idea about that. I replayed it on the 3DS Virtual Console, and I have to say, I hope they port Gens 1 and 2 over to the Switch when the time comes. But today, if you have an itch to play Gen 2 and have access to the 3DS Virtual Console, I'm gonna share the team I used. This team is definitely going to be more of a unique one than I've used in the past, so you guys are gonna be in for a treat. If you're in a Gen 2 mood as well, let me know what Pokemon you've used in the past or have used recently. With that, I'm just gonna dive right into the team. Also note this team will not be in any particular order. Before we start though, I have a new channel called Mystic Reads where I read anime fanfics, so if that's up your alley, consider checking it out. Also, over on Mystic Umbreon Shorts, we're doing 5 facts about every single Pokemon every single day. So if you like Mystic Umbreon daily content, check out both those channels. Links will be in the iCard and the description below. And if we can hit 5,000 subscribers, I have a very special top 5 series I'm going to be doing over on Mystic Umbreon Shorts. So let's get there. So with that, let's get started. Starting off the team is obviously going to be our starter. Now, what Pokemon do you think I chose? You obviously chose Chikorita. You guys are pretty smart. I didn't actually. I chose Typhlosion this time. I was in the mood to use the best starter for a change, and I would say 8 times out of 10 I would choose Chikorita, but I was in a fire type mood. The best fire type next to Typhlosion in Gen 2, if we don't count Entei or Ho-Oh, is definitely Arcanine. Magmar is also pretty good. Getting Growlithe is also easier in Crystal, but Typhlosion has a cool aspect to it that some people don't remember. And that's the fact it gets Thunder Punch. With how easy it is to get the elemental punches in Gen 2, it made Typhlosion a no-brainer for my fire type. While I think that Magmar is also really good, I was just in the mood to pick Typhlosion, okay? I also have a personal history with Typhlosion. I'll bet some of you didn't know that Typhlosion was the first Pokemon I ever got to level 100. I soloed the Elite Four with it, and I also beat Red with it. It was a tough time, but I managed. In this playthrough, Typhlosion dominated in the ways you would expect it to. Bugsy, Jasmine, Price, Koga, it dominated a lot of battles for me. I love Typhlosion. The next Pokemon was actually a real pain to get. And fun fact actually, I never actually used it on a team until now. This Pokemon can be found in the Dark Cave right before Violet City, and it's pretty rare to get. I'll bet you're thinking Dunsparce, right? I would be too. But no, I actually captured a Teddiursa. It occurred to me right after I chose Cyndaquil that Teddiursa was actually an option in Pokemon Crystal. It took me around 4 Teddiursa to get it. Why 4, you ask? Well, Teddiursa can actually run away. And every time one did, it would take me another 30 additional minutes to find another one. After a while though, I finally caught one, and I named it Sticky. I grew up on Winnie the Pooh, so this was inevitable. Teddiursa and Ursaring actually slayed Pokemon Crystal for me. Having attacks like Slash and Strength, along with that massive attack stat this evolution line has, I saw a lot of Pokemon get O-Code. Ursaring came in clutch in a variety of times throughout my playthrough. Due to it being a normal type, it kinda just filled in whenever. Up third is our Flyer. Now, some of you may have expected me to choose Sphero, considering I'm always praising it as the best flyer in Gen 2. Well, this isn't the best team, so I actually did the opposite of that and wound up choosing Pidgey instead. Not gonna lie, I've used the Pidgeot line a plethora of times, but it's actually been years. The Pidgeot line doesn't compare to Fearow in my opinion, but Pidgeot's design in Gen 2 made me want to do it. To help the Pidgey line prosper, I picked up the Swift TM in Union Cave and used that as Pidgeotto's main attack for the majority of my playthrough. And it worked. Then eventually I got Fly, and that worked as well. But after all of that, I eventually wound up giving my Pidgeot Return. Why not give it to Ursaring? Well, Pidgeot needed it more, and Ursaring is already great on its own. So, I nicknamed my Pidgey line Strawberry. Why? Well, there's an NPC in Violet City who nicknames her Pokemon after fruits, and that's always something that stuck out to me so much as a kid. Strawberries are also one of my favorite fruits, so I thought, why not? Plus in Gen 2, I just really love Pidgeot's design, and the little pink thing it had on its head just reminded me to name it Strawberry. I don't know why. I know strawberries are red. I know it's goofy, but just bear with me. Starting the second half of our team is the Pokemon you already knew was on the team, considering it's on the thumbnail. The fourth Pokemon I chose is Mew as my psychic type. Mew, for a lot of you, must be so far out in left field. A minority of you are probably wondering how I got it. The majority, well, in fact, know though. I got it underneath the truck in Gen 1. Haha, good joke, Mystic. No, I did the Mew glitch, and I transferred it over. I really wanted to shake up my playthrough, considering I've played through Gen 2 a gazillion times. Mew is a mythical Pokemon with 100 stats across the board, and it has access to practically every move. Or at least you would think so. What sucks about Mew is that it doesn't get any psychic moves via level up until level 40, when it gets psychic. Well, due to me being a dirty, stinking cheater, I traded Mew over to my beaten copy of Pokemon Silver, and luckily for me, I had a Psychic TM. So that saved me a lot of time. Mew was definitely my team MVP. I believe I taught it Ice Punch, Thunder Punch, Shadow Ball, and Psychic as its moveset. It destroyed Morty with virtually no problem. And with access to all the moves in its pool, it came in handy in a lot of situations. The elemental punches being so accessible makes Gen 2 very easy. Mew, being traded as well, made it that much easier to level up. I've always found it very fun to transfer Pokemon over from Gen 1 over to Gen 2. Makes it more fun because you have more options to pick from. Plus, the Gen 1 sprites in Gen 2 look really solid. At number 5 is Quagsire. I decided to take a break from Lapras and go back to the roots of Johto. Wooper can be found right below Violet City on Route 32. Right off the bat, I caught this little guy, and it helped me dominate through Union Cave. I've used Quagsire and Wooper plenty of times on teams in the past, but this time it had actually been quite some time. Wooper evolves into Quagsire at level 20, so you're able to get it pretty quickly, and it gets an amazing ground type attack at level 35, being Earthquake. That's honestly really solid for Generation 2, especially considering every learn set is pretty much lackluster. Quagsire is one of those rare cases in Gen 2. Yes, there's no physical water moves, but Surf still does well enough. Quagsire is pretty typical, so I will just leave this entry for what it is. Quagsire is a solid option for Gen 2, and I'm sure a lot of people can agree with me on this. I like Lapras more, but Quagsire is still decent, and I wanted to bring back an old favorite. And the last Pokemon I decided to choose was actually my favorite Kanto starter. Yup, I decided to trade Bulbasaur over from Pokemon Red. I really wanted to use a Kanto starter this time around, and I figured Bulbasaur could be really fun. Something I should have clarified when I talked about Mew was that I transferred Mew and Bulbasaur to a beaten copy of Pokemon Silver, and then to my playthrough of Pokemon Crystal. Reason being is you don't get access to the time capsule until you hit Egritique City. So I obviously wanted to get my hands on these two Kantomons as early as I possibly could. But Venusaur didn't really perform any differently than Meganium could have. The only real difference is it had access to Leech Seed earlier on. Venusaur also has 100 base special attack versus Meganium's base 83. Grass isn't all that great in a Johto playthrough, but I wanted to use Venusaur. And the fact it also got the trade boost experience helped it out a lot. Well, that wraps up the team that I used in my most recent playthrough of Pokemon Crystal. Will everyone be able to access this team? If you have friends with Pokemon Blue, or another 3DS with that stuff, sure. But ultimately, I had access to another system, and some people obviously don't have that. You can just replace Mew with Kadabra or Espeon, and then replace Venusaur with Bellossom, Vileplume, or Victreebel. Honestly, both psychic options are inevitably better than Mew because you have access to better psychic moves via level up. You don't have to wait until level 40 to have a psychic type attack. Even though Mew has access to all the TMs, there are other Pokemon on the team that pretty much take its coverage job. But anywho though, what did you guys think of this team? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Also be sure to share with me some teams you've used. Hey, it's the outro. Isn't that exciting? Thank you for enjoying another Mystic Umbreon video. We're getting ready to enter the fall, and the final stretch of hype for Scarlet and Violet is here. The excitement for Pokemon's 9th generation is at its peak, and I couldn't be more excited. We've still got plenty to cover before then though, so keep yourselves locked in. If you're interested in more Mystic content, check out my TikTok and Mystic Umbreon Shorts channel. If we get the 10K followers on TikTok, and we're super close, I'll be doing a viewer's choice video. Also, if you're into fanfictions and what ifs, check out Mystic Reads. I offer a ton of creative spoken word content on there, so come and join me. That's all for now. Make sure you subscribe for more fantastic content, and I'll see you next time.